Hello, my name's Robin and I'm the founder of Shift, and I'm going to take you through a presentation now about our course for educators. And this video complements the website, and it's for those of you that are more audible learners, and I'll take you through the content on the website and add a little bit extra as well. So welcome, it's wonderful to have you here listening and learning about our course. It's called a Wellbeing Ambassador Training. So we upskill educators so that they can then go into an educational setting and share wellbeing tools that have been scientifically proven to help themselves and young people that they work with. And we are sponsored by Gloucestershire Healthy Living and Learning. Our course has been accredited to use as part of the Mental Health Champion Award or your Healthy School Award as an intervention. We're also sponsored and funded by Active Gloucestershire and the CCG, which is the Clinical Commissioning Group for the NHS in Gloucestershire. So we teach everyday skills to help people navigate life's ups and downs. Life is really challenging, and especially at the moment, we've got lots of things going on impacting young people's lives, post-pandemic, climate change, increasing pressures in education, the list goes on. So we've designed a practical movement and mindfulness toolkit that can fit around your day-to-day life and transform your classroom and your own life and happiness and health, as well as the young people that you work with. So when you think about mental health support in your school, maybe just pause for a minute and just reflect on, do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel a bit hopeless? You know that something needs to be done, but you're not quite sure where to start. Maybe you've tried things in the past and they've been met with resistance and they haven't quite taken off. Maybe you actually feel really exhausted and burnt out and you're not quite sure how you could actually make a difference. You want to, but you're too overwhelmed. Or maybe you feel left out. Maybe you've heard about opportunities in the past, but you've never really had the opportunity yourself. And this course is for anyone in the educational setting. So it doesn't matter if you're a TA or a class teacher or a head teacher or a dinner lady or someone that works in the office. It's great to have diversity on this course. So no matter who you are or what your background is, we'd love to have you on this course, because we think that by having a diverse group, we can make more impact and reach more different types of young people. So imagine if you could introduce some simple strategies that will help your students regulate their energy levels, how they react and respond to things, improve their sleep and their focus in the classroom. And imagine if you could be given ways to help you take care of your own well-being, to help you prioritize 15 minutes a day where you can take care of yourself, and maybe that's split into 5-minute bite-sized chunks at 3 different points in the day. We can help you to come up with a well-being plan that is sustainable and accessible for you in your busy day-to-day life. Supporting your pupils and fellow staff who are suffering the consequences of ongoing stress. Maybe they have a bit of anxiety, and you can really make a difference to their lives by sharing this. And it's such a rewarding, fulfilling tool and practice to share with people. And I always get so much energy when I teach people these practices, and it makes me feel so good that I've given something really meaningful out into the world. And you're equipping young people for the future. You're helping them to be more resilient and to have an inner toolkit that they will have for life. So in this presentation, we're just going to go over about Shift. I'll tell you a little bit more about my background and our team, outline how the training works, go over some testimonials and how you can apply for a funded place. So this course is, we have got bursary places at the moment, thanks to our wonderful sponsors and funders. So it's definitely worth you just staying on for a little bit more to find out how you can do that. The application process is straightforward and it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. So first of all, before we begin, let's just take a moment to center ourselves, to practice what we preach, so that we can be really open to the information we're about to absorb in this presentation, and just be grounded and relaxed, because you might have just got back from a busy day at work, and let's just take a moment to relax. So maybe closing your eyes, or if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, soften your gaze. This is a practice for you now, so please feel free to adapt any of my guidance to feel more safe and comfortable for you. If you're sitting on the chair, maybe shuffle forward slightly so that you're not slouching back. Relax your hips and feel your weight drop into your seat. Maybe you can feel the exact points where the backs of your thighs are resting on the chair. And taking a moment there to feel really grounded, to feel the chair supporting you. And feel your feet on the ground, maybe start to spread out your toes. And starting to soften the body anywhere that was maybe holding on and tightening. And then lengthening up through the crown of the head. Imagine a piece of thread lifting you up through the crown of your head. You feel your spine starting to straighten, a bit of space in between each vertebrae. Feel your shoulders relax away from your ears. Your chest open. Notice where your hands are resting. Maybe one hand is over the other. Notice what that feels like in the hands. The points of contact your hands are making with one another or with parts of your body. And begin to take 3 deep breaths, taking longer, slower, deeper breaths than you normally would. Breathing in and breathing out. You can breathe in through the nose, and you can breathe out of the mouth or through the nose, whatever feels good for you. And again, slow breath in. Long breath out. Keep doing that, and as you breathe, feel your belly expand and soften on your inhale. And feel your belly contract as you exhale. Feel the belly relax and soften as you inhale, lots of space. As you exhale, feel the belly contract to push the air out the lungs. One more breath. Breathe naturally. Notice the effects of just taking a couple of minutes there to be mindful of your body and your breath. And you might want to rub the palms of your hands together and build up some heat and some friction in the hands as you rub. Once you've got some heat in your hands, gently place them over your head and your eyes, and gently, softly opening the eyes and looking back at the screen. So thank you for practicing that with me. So, as I said, my name's Robin, and I was the UK's youngest yoga teacher back in 2016. And I've been practicing yoga and meditation since I was 12, and it's been an incredible toolkit that I've had by my side every day. And I turn to it all the time, and my practice constantly evolves as my life changes and new challenges present themselves through different phases. And so I always find my practice really interesting. I never get bored of it because there's always something new to listen and learn. And I see yoga as a lifestyle. It's not just stretching. For me, it's time for myself where I can regulate and take control of how I'm processing challenging things that are happening in my life, or how I'm really relishing and delighting in the positive things that are happening in my life and taking the time to really process them. And in such a busy world, I find that really valuable. And it helps me continually learn and grow, perhaps when I react in ways that are stressful and don't benefit me or others around me. My yoga practice gives me some time where I can reflect on that, and I can learn a lot from my teachers and from yoga philosophy, and I find it really gives me a grounding and guidance in life. As a teenager, I did experience bullying through most of my school years. I struggled academically. I often got labelled as a student that, was never really going to be academic. And I was really struggling with family relations. I've had my parents got divorced, and they've got divorced again with their partners, and there's been quite a lot of conflict growing up. And so I find yoga really helpful to process some of that stress and trauma. And I noticed when I started to practice regularly that my outlook was transforming, and it affected all areas of my life. So as I started to feel more confident and empowered in myself and more in control, I was less likely to just blame the world around me, and I took more responsibility for interactions with others. I started to try more in school, and I realized that I was holding myself back with this belief that I wasn't good and that I wasn't going to ever be good at school. And as I started to change that belief, I then behaved differently in the classroom, and I got different results. And I left school with A's and A stars when I, in the past, was on E's. And so that's when I left school, when I did my GCSEs, and I thought, why isn't this in schools? We want people to perform academically, but to be able to do that well, they need to be able to process what's going on in their life, to be able to sleep well, regulate themselves, so that they can be focused and motivated, and so they can overcome hurdles and limiting beliefs and build more confidence. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years since I trained to be a qualified yoga teacher. I did my 200 hours. I've since then done lots of CPD courses in trauma yoga, prison yoga, teen yoga, children's yoga. I received the Princess Diana Award. I've done community classes for teenagers and adults. I've done online courses through the COVID-19 pandemic. I've done peer-to-peer courses in schools working with young people. And I've sort of combined all of this knowledge together to form this Wellbeing Ambassador Course. And it's my dream to share yoga in a way that can be more creative and adaptive and inclusive, because I recognise that the wellbeing industry is not accessible to many. Many of the marketing messages out there sort of say that you have to be able to tie yourself in knots and that you have to be slim and middle-aged and blonde. And it's just simply not true. This practice is for everyone. And so this is what I'm hoping this course is going to reach a more diverse range of people. And I have an amazing team behind me. So I work with other freelance yoga instructors who have previously been school teachers. We have someone on our team that specialises in Key Stage 1, storytelling yoga, children's yoga. We have another person in our team that used to be the head of PSHE in a large secondary school, and she now brings lots to the team with that background. We have people specialising in one-to-one therapeutic yoga and adaptive practices, prison yoga, teen yoga, mindfulness, sound therapy, and working with young people with learning difficulties like autism and ADHD. So we offer many different things as well as this course. We also offer leadership trainings, peer-to-peer courses for young people in schools. We normally work with sort of students in year 9 for that. We also have one-off package visits for assemblies and workshops. We do retreats for teachers. We do school camps and day retreats or workshops. We have an online membership area with video resources, blog posts. We also do research and case studies on our courses, and we go out and talk to young people and find out what they think of yoga and how we can make it more inclusive and relevant to them. We do one-to-one mentoring and tuition with all ages, and that could be coaching or it could be a private yoga class. We also do 12-week activity on referrals, which is part of social prescribing, which is with the CCG. We also work with other local organisations and councils. And so as you can see below, we work with Active Gloucestershire, Gloucestershire Healthy Living and Learning, which is part of Gloucestershire's County Council. And we also work with One Gloucestershire NHS CCG. We've also worked with Stroud District Council, and we really enjoy working with other local organisations, charities and councils to try and reach more people and have a wider impact. Our goal is always to focus on the training, because it is that saying, that proverb, you teach a man to fish, he has food for life. So we want these tools to be sustainable and have the most value and the most impact, and that is why the training is always going to be so much better than just coming off and doing a one-off assembly or workshop. So our values as an organisation is being authentic, practicing what we preach. So all of our team does yoga every day. Being integral, looking at things as a whole, looking at how things are connected. Trust, being honest, keeping communication open, being kind and compassionate, and being sympathetic with people, having empathy. High qualities and standards, reviewing things, evaluating, continually improving. Listening, really through research, finding out what's the problem, how can we help, what's working, what's not working, and being mindful in our approach to listening and being open to the truth and to new ideas. Being safe, being trauma sensitive, following safeguarding procedures, staying up to date with all of those policies as they change and evolve. Making sure our qualifications, our first aid, DBS, everything like that is up to date. Being resilient, so leaning into challenges, being open and vulnerable, working as a team. Being adaptive, so that's part of being flexible. Being creative with your approach, thinking outside the box. Being fun, making this enjoyable, and being passionate. So what is yoga? So it has originated from the East, from India, and more recently it's come to the West. It's got very popular recently. Since I trained it in 2016, it has grown so much. I was quite an outlier doing it, but now more and more young people are doing it, and we've got rugby teams and football teams doing it as part of their training. It's becoming very mainstream. The main thing that yoga helps us to do is to regulate our nervous system and tone our vagus nerve, and that happens through the stretches, the movement, and the breath work. It also helps us to properly relax. But it's not just the movement and the breathing and the meditation, it's also the philosophy behind it all. And something that underpins yoga is mindfulness. So it's a practice that combines everything, this practice of observing your thoughts and then using your breath or your body or whatever you're doing in the present moment to anchor back. And this helps you to be more aware, more disciplined, and feel more in control. Makes you feel empowered. So what makes yoga different? Well, you don't need anything other than yourself. You even don't need a yoga mat. You can make do without one. It's a holistic approach that looks at the whole person, and it is possible to get in this present, focused, meditative state through things like biking or football or netball. But the problem is those don't necessarily sort of show you how you can take those skills and put them in your day-to-day life, whereas yoga does that really well. It teaches you these tools and techniques in a session, but then it sort of shows you how you can then bring that in your day-to-day life. It's accessible for everyone. As long as you can breathe, you can do some aspect of yoga. So let's have a look at the course. So this is just a bit of a brief overview. So we do have bursary places available thanks to our funders. So you apply for those, and then we have a panel that review those, and then we get in contact with you with a place. Schools or individuals can also fund their own place as well. We've had plenty of people do that in the past. We evaluate and improve every course. We have a team of specialists, as I've already said. It's online flexible learning, so that means that you don't have to spend loads of time driving to places. You can just focus on your learning. It's much easier for modern busy life. And we do have some in-person aspects, so where possible we try and meet up as a group at the start and end of the course. We also have things like retreats that happen a couple of times a year that you can join at an additional cost. We also give you a buddy, so you can try and meet up with your shift buddy in person for a coffee or something like that. This isn't a full yoga training, so to be a professional yoga teacher you have to do at least 200 hours. So this is more of a CPD course. It's about 65 hours. And it's to become a wellbeing ambassador so that you can support your own wellbeing and also support your colleagues and your students' mental health and wellbeing a little bit more. You can implement it into PSHE, PE, drama, the classroom, art sessions, or behaviour management. It doesn't have to look like a 30, 60-minute class. It could just be a 5-minute intervention. So, as I said, we have online learning, and these modules are released. They get released sort of every fortnight, and it's to be completed at a time that suits you within that period. So we do set a deadline, but you can choose within that deadline when you want to do it. And we make sure that there's no more than 3 hours each week of work to do. We normally try and keep it around the 2-hour mark to make it manageable. If you do miss a deadline, it's not the end of the world. Every month we give you a week of catch-up time. So throughout the 26 weeks of the course, we give you every month a week of catch-up time. And then you also have the school holiday breaks where we don't set any work. So it's the idea is that this course is good for your well-being and that it's not a stress and that it is manageable. You also get 4 half-an-hour one-to-one mentoring sessions. 3 of those are during the course and 1 is after the course to support you with delivery. You also get a private yoga class so we can explore variations and adaptations to help you with your practice. You also get fortnightly Q&A Zoom sessions so that we can chat about the content as a group and you can ask more questions with the videos that you've been watching. And you get access to our learning platform with video tutorials that you can keep practicing and referring back to. So by the end of the course, you'll have a wide range of mindfulness and yoga tools that you can use to take care of yourself and to then put into your school. And you'll gain confidence in how to do this. And you'll also be able to be really creative and innovative and discuss ideas with us about the best way that you can take this into your school. And you'll feel supported and connected with other educators in the county and also with us, with the coaches. So why is this training so important now? So we've got 1 in 4 young people with mental health issues, probably going to increase with the effects of the pandemic. We're already seeing that. Resilience problems. So lots of people are struggling with resilience at the moment. They're feeling overwhelmed. We've got lots of staff leaving education, low retention rates. We also need to protect the NHS. So social prescribing is a really good way to do that. And this is part of that. We also have an environmental health problem. And so we need to be thinking about how we're connected to the environment and how that all ties in, because we can't focus on our breathing if we've got polluted air. So, we've got big issues like that. which means that we really need to start thinking about healthcare. We've got obesity in young people and sport accessibility problems. Lots of people don't necessarily like the typical sport options at school, and they close their mind off to sport. So it's really a good idea to have other options. So how do young people benefit? Well, it gives them more awareness. They're able to notice that they have a thought, and they can then choose if they want to let that thought go, if it doesn't serve them, or if it's maybe a positive thought that they want to build on. It gives them a sense of empowerment and being in control. It also helps them to learn to listen and respect their bodies. And that's really important because young people, especially teens, are often going to their peers and they're susceptible to peer pressure. So this helps them to form healthy boundaries with their body. It also helps them to control their nervous system by using their breath. It can improve confidence and self-esteem. They start to look at their body in a new way. Instead of judging it and comparing it to how people look on social media, they start to instead feel grateful with how their body can move, and you start to look at your body as science and find it fascinating and be curious instead of always worrying about what it looks like. It helps with resilience. It helps to improve energy and motivation. It's very relaxing. Asher here, there's a really nice video of him talking. He used to come to my community classes for many years, and he says, I use yoga almost every day. Breathing helps calm me down when I'm not thinking straight. I find the counting and breath helps distract me from my thoughts and clears my mind. And that's just incredible, because when he used to go and lose his temper, he would breathe in for 5 and exhale for 10 as a way of calming him down when he lost his temper. And how do teachers benefit? Well, Charlotte Bell here, who did our course last year, she says, I was a complete beginner to yoga and I can teach it confidently now. It feels really rewarding to be able to pass on those skills to the children in my class. So you can see, you don't have to necessarily know that much about yoga to do this course. You can be a complete beginner, or you can be an experienced, maybe even professional yoga teacher doing this course. So we take all ranges of people. And how are teachers using it so far from our research? So inset days for staff, staff meetings, weekly interventions. Some people even have timetable cover in the school day, which is fantastic, with the schools buying them resources and everything. Lunch and after school clubs for both staff and students. TA pastoral one-to-one support. Behaviour management as a way of regulating the class, maybe in between those tricky transition periods like after lunch break. PE, PSHE, and all these other different subjects as well. You know, you could add mindfulness into art, you could bring some of the poses into drama and think about body language. There's so many different ways to do this. We've even had a teacher in the past teach primary years spelling by doing sort of poses in the shapes of letters. So we empower you to be able to implement this in an innovative way to suit your school. So how can you join us? You're thinking, right, I'm ready to go. We have an application form. So if you visit our website, the link's just there. So it's www.shiftmovement.org.uk/funded-opportunities, and you'll be able to find out. And there's a button that says apply now right at the bottom. So if you click on that, then you'll be sent a Google application form, and it will take you about 10-15 minutes to answer that, and then we'll review that and hopefully you get a place. And if not, just let us know, contact us. We've also got our contact details on the website and a frequently asked questions section if you're wanting some more information. So thank you very much for listening. Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you soon on a course.